5 points a little bit. If you want to have more information, you can go on my website, liabeltrami.it. I write a blog almost every week, and you can enjoy the blog and find even the 5 tips to make good documentaries, or how to make the best from a film festival, or all these things you can read on my blog. So, about our 5 points, let's start with a good story. Okay? Now you can say, yes, I have a really, really good story. Oh my God, what is your really, really good story? Oh, my dog has run away and followed my neighbor and went and ate the chicken of my neighbor. That's funny. Oh, that's good. That's really funny and good story. Yes, yes. I tell you exactly that your dog that is a thief could be a nice short film, feature film, but not definitely a nice and interesting documentary. No? A documentary, we must tell a whole story. We must narrate a story from the beginning to the end, not just give a short hint, even in a short documentary. So let's say another story. You can, what could be a good story? I've been to Kolkata, India. I was there with some beautiful nuns who were taking care of children coming from bad situation. That could have been a good story, but I found a better story. I found the story of 3 girls who were the first who entered in the help center of the nun. And one became a hostess, a flight attendant. That's a good story. Coming from under the bridges, from the worst slum, and becoming a flight attendant. Can you imagine? Another one, a housewife. And the third one, she came out and really made her life. So that's a good story. That's a good story, and everyone liked this story. So when you think of a story, think really to have a strong story. And that's the point 1. If you have ideas of stories, you can also write me and I can tell if your story is good or not. And you know, how can you say if your story is good or not? Instead of writing 100 pages of a script that for a documentary, no one will read it, even yourself, write 2 lines of the log line. Write your documentary in 1 sentence. That's how you see if your story is really good or not. But also about logline, we can write an old story another time. Let's go to the point 2. So please find good stories for your documentary. And another thing, don't be too broad. Don't say youth in Nigeria. Yes, youth in Nigeria. You cannot make 1 documentary. I mean, it's too broad. No one would understand nothing. So try to be more precise as possible. Let's say young electric guitar players in Nigeria. That is even a little bit better. But if you go to the John, who's a great electric guitar player from Benin City, and he went to Lagos and made a change in his life, that's even better. Because you have a story. You have a story to tell, and you can follow your story. Then let's say Sorry, I always cannot stand in the same place for too long time. Second point, research. When you decide to make your story, you must study a lot. Do not be superficial. Okay? You need to know everything about electric guitars. Study. Try to play, even if you don't know how to play. Try to play your guitar if you want to make your documentary on that man, John, that is a great guitar player. But then you need to know everything you can about John. So prepare carefully your interviews. Go and interview John. Go and interview his parents, his relatives. But go and interview the person at the shop next to John. Is John going to the shop completely drunk every night? Or is John going there helping and being kind with them? I mean, which kind of person is John? And then you need to know even more. Study how many people are playing electric guitar in Nigeria. How many of them can succeed in making a career? And then study also what is the story of electric guitar. When was the first electric guitar made? By whom? What happened next? And is there a crazy Italian young girl, woman, who helped to make a factory of colored electric guitar in Congo? You will know if you study. You will meet, because we had a project in Congo in a conflict area where I helped Father Corrado to make yellow, red, and green and blue, beautiful handmade electric guitars. So telling your story, you will know all these tips. But if you are not prepared enough, when you go and make an interview to your guest, you can make something horrible. If you're not prepared, really it's better you don't go for an interview. It's too risky for you. So please do not. Do not go and interview if you're not prepared, if you haven't done your research. If you have a little budget, you can also pay someone to make the research and bring the results for you. But usually when we make documentaries, we never have that budget. So let's go to the point number 3, planning. Planning in documentary making can make your life much, much easier. If you have $1,000 and you start to make your film without planning, it will be a complete disaster. So first of all, plan your budget. When you have a small budget, you must be very careful to plan very precise your budget. So for example, put your money more on a good director of photography, because photography in documentary making is important. It's not the second choice. And try to find friends who are going to help you. But most of all, plan very careful your budget. And then plan your timeline. Be very precise to say, for example, I will study the subject for 2 months. Then month 3 and 4, I will write down my logline, my script, all my preparation. Then on month 7, let's say, month 7, I do the film plan. Which day I will film, Don't put 5 interviews in the same day. It's too much. 2 interviews in a day of shooting is really quite good. 3, it's okay. 4 is too much. Plan the days of shooting very carefully. Plan if you need permission, if you need anything. Think before at anything you can need. Maybe if you are in Nigeria, don't put an interview at 12 o'clock when you have the sun really on your top. The direct light would be almost destroying your interview. Outdoors interviews are always better than indoor. So when you plan, you ask your crew to wake up a little bit earlier, to be ready at 6:30 in the morning, to make the filming at sunrise, which is a beautiful light. Work hard from 6 o'clock, 7 in the morning till 11. Then you can stop until 3 o'clock. You can eat, rest, you can download your images, you can watch what you have done. And then start again at 3 o'clock until it's dark, which is 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, again you have a good light. So when you plan your documentary, always think the timing. And then about planning. Plan that you have everything you need on the set. Let's say, if you are out on a field where they grow rice, and you become thirsty and you need to get a bottle of water, you cannot have a person stopping the film because he needs to go 1 hour walking to get a bottle of water. You have to plan even that, to bring with you the water, to bring with you bread or whatever you need to have some food, or maybe to bring a different t-shirt because the person who's coming maybe have dark skin and put a white t-shirt and your camera cannot get, or is too dark or is too bright. So you need to get maybe with brown skin, good blue color, like Godfrey. That's perfect, Godfrey. And then I've seen a friend with a perfect yellow. Where is my friend with that yellow color in front line? That's it, that you get it. Yes, that is perfect color to make a perfect interview. But it's better that you take with you a t-shirt, just you need, maybe in case you need. Okay, also you see how much you have to work on planning. And with documentary, also you have to plan. Am I filming something dangerous? Let's say I made a film in the refugee camps in Syria. Okay, there is a war. They are fighting. So it's dangerous. So how can I plan in that case? I plan the road to run away from danger. That's I need to plan. How do I escape with my cameraman in case they want to kill me? We do in Italian, which means run away fast. Okay, there's always something to plan. I hope you're not going to make too dangerous documentaries. But even if you are, maybe on drug dealers, maybe on prostitution net, all these items could be dangerous. So plan in advance how to come out from a risky situation. So we do have a good story. We have done a good research. We have done a perfect planning. Then number 4, what we need is to have a great crew. A great crew doesn't mean they must be the most paid cameraman or sound check everyone. The best crew is the crew that goes better with you. It's so important that you have a crew that believes in your project. They must believe in you. So spend your time explaining to your crew your project in details. Find the right director of photography. Money for DOP are worthy of a documentary. A good DOP, director of photography, can make 50% of your documentary. And the music, the composer of your music. If I watch a documentary from Nigeria, from Africa, but from Nigeria, I expect myself to hear a wonderful rhythm music. So not just take a radio music, put up a CD and that's done, or a free stock of American music, please. You have your whole history in you. You have the blood of your ancestors playing the music in you. So from your documentary, unless you're making a documentary on New York taxi drivers, which I suppose you're not, go to the tradition of your people, of your ancestors. With their rhythm, with their music, you will get them in your documentary. You will go in your roots, and you can go to the future with the richness of your past. Be always proud of your history, of your past, of who you are. Be proud of this. So in your documentary, put all the energy of your ancestors. Put all the rhythm of your culture, because your culture is never worse than another culture. American culture is not better than yours, I tell you. Japanese culture is not better than yours. You have your culture. And I think that now Africa, and most of all Nigeria, needs to stand up with pride. Pride of who you are, pride of your culture, pride of your history. And choose your crew carefully, people that know this, people that can help you in this. One I met in Italy His Majesty, the King of Benin, the Edo King. He's living in your city, isn't he? He was the ambassador of Nigeria in Italy, and then he became king when his father passed away, doctor. An amazing, wonderful man who really gave and shared with us the best of Edo culture. Oh my God, so much. I have a dream to come to Nigeria and to Benin City to make a documentary on his life. So maybe we can build a crew all together, because I cannot bring an Italian crew to film your king. I want you to build a crew to make a great project for this. Let's put in a future project. So let me go to the fifth point, distribution. I put distribution in the preparation. So we are talking about how to prepare a good documentary. We would need another month to say how to make it. But so we had a good story, research, planning, crew, and distribution. And you can ask me, what are you are putting the last thing at the beginning? Why are you talking about distribution right now? I tell you why. Because when you start your documentary, you must think about who's gonna watch it. Who's gonna watch your documentary? Which public will you have? So are you making a documentary for YouTube? Are you making a documentary for cinema theaters? Are you making a documentary for TV? The language of your documentary will change depending on your distribution, on your audience. Are you making a documentary for children or for adults? Adults interested in the King of Benin, or young boys interested in electric guitars players. So try to focus your audience much before starting to film. So when you film, you know to whom you are talking. And then, last but not least, ask yourself, would I watch this documentary? Will I be interested in this documentary? Is it a good documentary for me? It's a hard question. It seems superficial, but it's very hard. Sometimes I made a documentary. I wouldn't have gone to watch it on my own. So I said, that's the worst documentary I've made. But for example, the story of the 3 girls in Kolkata, I would go and watch because I'm very interested to see the other side, the side who made it. Not the side who's helping them, but the part who's really made his life, her life. So, I mean, it's a long process, but I tried to give you an overview of the first tips to start to make a good documentary. A good story, a good research, a good planning, a good crew, and a good audience and distribution. Start with these 5 pillars and you will get a wonderful documentary. So now I would like to know if you have any questions. I will be eager to answer.
Yes, definitely we'll have questions. So, yes, ma'am, please. Yes, ma'am, please. There's a question for you.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Freda Roberts. I want to know how long does it take, as in what's the time frame that is expected for a documentary? Is it 1 hour? Is it 30 minutes? Just want to know what.
Very good question, ma'am. Very good. Usually, from the day I have the idea, I take about 6 months for the research, for reading about that, for trying to make up my mind. So 6 months to 1 year. I put even trying to find sponsors, trying to, to organize the base of it. It could be then altogether 1 year. Then 1 month of preparation, 2 weeks of shooting, 1 month and a half for editing, and 1 month for corrections, finalize, and settle. Sometimes the beginning first year can be even 1 week. You get the idea, you have someone who gives you the money, you know everything about that subject, and it can be much shorter than 1 year. But for me, usually it takes 1 year to get into the subject, maybe not doing only that. I'm finishing my past documentary, and in between, my mind is studying and working. So that's the usual timeline for me. I have very little days of filming because I will arrive completely prepared to the filming.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There's another question for you.
Hello, good afternoon from Nigeria. It's not really another question. It's just we're trying to modify the first question she asked. What she's trying to find out from you is what is the correct time frame, the air time for a particular documentary, the air time.
That's it.
Yeah.
The product.
Yeah, by the time you come out with the final, after
the final
editing, by the time
editing,
you come out with the final
the length.
length
Okay.
documentary. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So the length, you have three, usually, you can have three lengths for a documentary. You start up to 30 minutes for a short documentary. 28, 30 minutes, really good. And you can go to film festivals much easier. You can even tell a lot of things in 30 minutes, but it's a short documentary. And you have the so-called British 52, because BBC asked for 50 to 52, which is my favorite length for documentaries. It means you can go from 48 minutes to 52 minutes. Amazon Prime, Netflix, they like this length very much. Then you have 60, 70 minutes, which is usually called the theater length. For me, a documentary on 60, 70 is a little bit too long for my taste. And also the public, because when you go in theater with the 52 documentary, you have the time even to meet the people, to talk. So altogether the evening come 1 hour and a half, and that's good. So these are the main three lengths for documentary.
I wanted to ask, good afternoon. My question is, what is the specific difference between the script of a film and a documentary?
I couldn't hear very well the question. Can you repeat for me?
Okay, I said, what is the specific difference? What's the obvious difference between the script for a film and that of a documentary?
Okay. Yeah, that's very, very good and important question. For a feature film, there is a technique for writing a script. You divide in scenes. Every page is 1 minute of film. You describe interior, exteriors, light, dark, protagonists, and dialogues, and you have the voice and everything. So what's happening with documentaries? That's an open issue. There are different schools of thought. Those who say you have to write a very precise script also for documentaries. And from my face, you understand I'm not that good. Because it very much portray the truth. So you really need to leave space of what's happening on what you are filming. So what I'm doing personally, I divide in scenes. I say scene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I put what I want to put in scene 1, for example. I want to have an overview of the electric guitar factory, and then details about electric guitars, introduction by John's father. Then scene 2, I write, I want to see John playing electric guitar, and then I want to start the story, John telling his story himself. Scene 3, I want to have the view of the public. So there is a girl who's following John concerts. I want to see her, and then I want to listen to her voice. So altogether, my scripts are, every scene is 1 page, half page. For a 52 minutes documentary, all my script is, let's say, 5 pages, not more. And it's not too detailed, just the kind of shootings I want to have. So after the script, I make the shooting plans, and I'm sure I have all I've written in my so-called script, which is more a treatment than a script. And the time I made a more precise script, when I went to make that documentary, I changed it completely. The film was totally different, because maybe, you know, you go and have your idea, but when you start filming, you understand your idea was wrong. So I think even if you write a script for a documentary, should be completely open. So you don't have your fixed idea, and you don't make a documentary to testimony, to witness your idea, but you make a documentary to tell the story. So you try to be more open than possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate, and we have actually been learning so much. I want to ask, when you complete your documentary shooting, what are the plans do you have, or how do you distribute the documentary? How do you, and what the various places that you can distribute your documentary?
Okay, that's I can only summarize, but it's very important. So when I organize my distribution, I start with some screenings in theaters in order to understand if the audience really liked the film or not. Maybe after some big screenings, I adjust some points, I make the final version. So I start with 2 or 3 theaters. Then I dedicate almost the first 6 months to 1 year to film festivals. I send the film in film festivals around the world, and I wait to see if they like it, if they don't like it. For example, the documentary on about Kolkata and the girls, called the Barstov Song. At the beginning, I didn't know, because maybe I said, I don't know how much the people is interested, and I had problems, technical problems in making it, so I was not sure. But the documentary was selected until now by 98 film festivals in the world, 98, and it has been awarded by 48, which is half, which is huge. It's the Italian documentary most awarded in the world. So I didn't expect at the beginning. So it's good to have your time for film festivals. Then if it's a 52 minutes documentary, you can decide to ask to a distributor or try to do yourself. I have a distributor in United States, Indie Ride Movies in Los Angeles, for the platforms, VOD. They send to Amazon Prime, to Roku, to this TV. Then I try to work with televisions. Even a little bit before platforms, it should be theaters, film festivals together, televisions, and platforms. So one after the other. So 6 months or 1 year of festivals, a few months to be on TV, and then on platforms. But on platforms, not the short documentaries, only the 52, more than 45 minutes to 52, and that's length is for platforms. And then you have to do a lot of marketing, social media, Instagram page. If you like, you can follow my Instagram page. So you have the updates of my new projects. And I will follow yours. I see your names, I will follow you.
I will share it, then they will follow it.
Yeah, so it's very, very important also what you can do in terms of marketing for your documentary. And I know you're a filmmaker, you say, I'm not expert in marketing, but unless you have the budget for hiring a person just for marketing, you have to do it on your own. Because even if you put on a platform like Netflix or Amazon Prime, you need to have your marketing.
Thank you very much. There's another question.
All right, good afternoon, Ma. I am Abraham Nassim. I want to really know, in making documentaries, because in filmmaking there are a lot of equipment and technicalities involved. I want to know, is there any particular, or are there any particular equipment you can use to get your documentary? That is number one. Then number two, there are some documentaries where you get only a one-sided story. You can't, like these social issues, for instance, where maybe a big-time politician does something to a very minor of the society. You don't have the chance to go after the big politician, or many of times when you wait, they don't respond. Maybe they even tend to try to make you keep that story. So I don't know, how do you go about those issues where you can't balance the both sides? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. So for the first question, now you can find very good. I suggest to shoot in 4K. And you have, I wouldn't go to too complicated equipment. Maybe Sony compact could be even good enough. When you have, I say Sony, but you have Panasonic, Canon, all their names. But I use the Sony 100K, which is, I mean, if you have a big crew, you can have a complicated camera, you can film in RAW, you can have change lenses, all of this. But sometimes you cannot. When I'm in refugee camps, I need to have a small, I use the Osmo Pocket camera. I film in 4K with it. And it's like this. And I can put here and go and film with it without people really understand I'm filming. So the range is huge, but as simple as you have the camera, as much attention you can put on what you are filming. So my suggestion is really take something very automatic and very simple. Then second question, that's a difficult point, because sometimes they don't want, politicians don't want to answer to you, for example. There is a little trick you can use. And it is, if you have Twitter, your account, or on social, you make a small video saying, I'm trying to make a documentary on that person. He's not answering. Is he avoiding my questions? Is he hiding something for me? And then you throw it on the social, tagging the person. They will get so anxious because what do you know about them that it's hidden? What's coming out? So you go then and say, can you interview? And usually they answer you yes. A little trick, but it's working.
Thank you. Well, in such a case, it may be easy in Europe or in Nigeria. Here, the politician may not. They will maybe get you arrested and jail you.
Okay.
But,
you're right, because not everywhere is the same. You're right to say how is the reality there, of course.
In a sense of no more questions. Okay, there's another question.
It will be the last one because then I need to go.
The last question.
To make the lunch to my husband, because being a documentary maker doesn't mean you don't make your lunch to the husband. Joking.
Thank you very much.
Send me the question.
All right. Okay, is that, you need a question? Okay, is that, you need a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just try to be as brief as possible. I want to refer you back to your answer on how you market your documentary. You made mention of television as one of the outlets to market documentary. Now, you know that in any venture, making documentary or make a feature film, the end product is to make profits. How do you fund? Do you pay the television companies that that air your documentaries? How do you, at the end of the day, how are you compensated? Thank you.
Very, very good question. So very good point. Until a few years ago, it was impossible to put documentaries on TV because they don't make any profit. Now, some channels, at least in Italy, they started in the last few years. So the national channel, when they came to digital, they founded the documentary channel. So they really need documentaries to fill 24 hours of film, of TV. And also Sky channel in Italy, they do have the Sky documentary. So now, because people are going, they ask for documentaries. It was not fashion until 5 years ago, but now everyone wants to see documentaries. Even Netflix, they pay you back very little from Netflix, for example, but now I have 2 documentaries on Netflix Europe, and they are giving back something. So for the rest of TVs, for example, in Italy, we do have a very strong Christian TV. And every day they dedicate 2 hours to social documentaries, not only Christian, for everyone, but 2 hours a day, they screen and they pay you back. They pay you back, not much, but they pay you back. So I receive a little bit, so in the budget, it's good because it's very helpful to have a TV paying you a little bit, very little. You don't make money out of it, but maybe you can pay the fees for the film festivals or something like that. So I hope everywhere now are starting new channels for documentaries, because it's the new fashion, let's say. Like in the film markets, I go to Cannes, I go to Venice, I go to Berlin. Until 4 years ago, documentary, nothing. Now, when you go, even in the film markets, you present your documentary and you can find someone who can buy it. Of course, it's not easy to afford to go to Cannes, but now there are markets online. You can also doing some market online for TVs, and maybe you can find a channel, because documentary is the new wave of fashion, let's say. So they may even pay you back something.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time with us, and we're looking forward to when you come to work with our career, when you come to Nigeria to work with us, and we will be really glad to have you. Thank you once again, and we hope when we call on you next time, you honor our invitation. Thank you. God bless you. Say what you have.
Thank you. Thank you. Be strong and fight for the rights of documentary makers.
Bye.